Hey everyone, it's your girl Shaniqua. I'm coming with you another week. We're on week 20. Bounce back. Daily reading. Second King 1 and 3, Second King 2 and 4, Second King 8 and 11, Second King 12 and 15, Second King 16 and 18, Second King 19 and 22. Women of God, I'm sure you have much to be thankful for. You have many testimonies of God's grace and how He kept you and provided for you. By the same token, I'm sure there has been days when you were disappointed and frustrated. Times when you just weren't sure what tomorrow would bring. But God sustained you and even gave you the power to get back up. I'm a living witness of the kind of experience, and I thank God for the ability to bounce back. Is it always easy? Absolutely not, but it is doable with God's help. 2 Kings 8, we find the story of a woman who literally had to walk away from everything she owned. This woman had been a faithful servant to protect Elisha. In chapter 4, she and her husband built a room upon their home so the prophet would have a place to stay whenever he was in town. Elisha wanted to repay her, spoke a word over her life, and she and her husband were blessed against all odds with a son. Later, the same son they were blessed with died. But this woman's faith never wavered. She went to the prophet to beg for her son's life, and it was merciful restored. Now in chapters 8, she was getting ready to go through yet another crisis. And the one constant thing she still had to go for her was that her faith was strong. Elisha told her to leave her home and find somewhere to live in another land because the Lord was going to cause a 7-year famine. So here we have this woman who was once very wealthy. She had to go through a period when her child was sick. Upon death, she had evidently lost her husband, and now she was about to lose her home. Her faith was strong, but she was still going through her shares of struggle. Yet, in spite of all it, we see her bounce back stronger. When she got back into her town, she went to meet the king to ask for the return of her land. She got back everything she had lost, plus the profit the land had produced from the day she left until the day she returned. Let me encourage you as I encourage myself. There will be some ups and downs in all our lives. Some days we feel like we're on a top of the world. Other days we're wondering, where is God? Do not fear, my dear sister. God is still there. You may not know how or when, but He will give you the power to bounce back. Okay? Questions. Can you identify in any way with the story of the woman from 2 Kings and how? I would say we all have. It's not, this is, even though it's pertaining to women, but also a lot of people have lost their things that they wish they had, and God has restored everything. I'm evidence of that. God restored like a ring that I lost like a couple of years ago. He recently restored that like last year. So he can restore anything from the place you live, and also he had done that, restore the place, where I used to live. Like I used to live in a certain apartment, and then I had to give that up. And then now it's like I have my house again, which I'm thanking God for that every day. So he restores every time. And you lose things, but then it's like God brings back like more. So it's like the things that you think you're losing at the time, you're like, dang, I don't want to give this up. It could be like this job that you just, this job that you're doing right now, like a 9 to 5, and then he's like saying, go to that business, go walk in faith and do that business. And you're like, nah, God, I don't want to do that, because, on the other side, he's restoring everything that you probably was going for it, and then that wasn't the right time. And now you can do the business, and it's flourishing. You're getting your money back that you lost for a couple of years ago, and you're about to be back restrained, and you're God's glorifying you through everything you've been through, and you're glorifying Him because you're like, God, thank you for restoring everything I have lost, like everything. You'd be surprised. Has there ever been a time when you wonder where God was, and how did you handle it? Oh, every time. We all get that way too. I'm not just gonna say about myself. I'm literally putting y'all in it too, because we all feel like, where is God? Like how? Like I was just asking God, how much longer for a certain thing I'm praying for, and He said just a little while longer. But we're always like, God, where you at? On certain things, because we don't think He's there, but He's like always there, sitting next to us, and like saying like, hey, let me handle it. And how did you handle it? Being sometimes you have to handle how to handle it. Before I would just like, whatever, I'm gonna do it myself. But now got me in season. Sometimes He'll sit you down too, and you can't do it yourself. But now it's kind of like how I handle it. I just give it to Him in prayer and fasting, and just like focus on Him, and just be grateful for what I have right now, and not rush the process. Before I was rushing the process. Before I was like, I don't care. Like I'm gonna figure it out myself. But now it's kind of like God is teaching me to lean on Him more and more in different situations where I can't even think I can do it myself. So, okay. After this story, can you see the importance of preservation and faith and obedience? And how do you feel about your level of faith in your obedience? Really, after seeing this, reading, she literally, the title is, you're bouncing back. You're bouncing back. So she literally bounced back for everything she has like been through. And, unfortunately, I think it's like evidence she lost her husband, but they were blessed with a child. She lost the child. She begged, she got that restored. And then she had to leave because there was a 7-year famine. So it's like, even though we go through so much in life, we're like, it's like on the other side. If you just listen to God, and as He orders your steps, as He takes you to go different places, you'll see like the evidence of, oh, this is what you were telling me. And at the time I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this for? And then now you're like, okay, I'm persevering, and God is opening the doors for you and showing you, look, I've been trying to tell you this. And now that you're obedient, you get to be blessed, and not just be blessed. It's just, He's just showing you how much He loves you. And, showing you like, look, I'm your dad. I got you. I'm your father. It says, how do you feel about your level of faith and obedience? Well, I think all of us have been at a place in our lives too, where we felt like our faith was so small. But as you sit with God, like I said, and increase your faith, even just helping his people. He just shows you little things. And, and it shows you that, everything you go through is not as bad as the next person that went through something. Some people tell their life story and how they lost things, and you're just like, God, I don't even know, or, it increases your faith, and also, it also increases your obedience, because you're like, I don't want to be in their shoes. I'm glad I'm not in their shoes. So, when you hear about different people's testimonies, their story, what they've been through, what they're going through, you just be so shocked. You'd be like, God, you'd be grateful a little bit more. Like, God, I'm thankful that, I don't have to go through this, or, what I went through, it wasn't as bad as what I hear now. And all you can do is pray for people that they start opening their eyes and seeing God. And maybe they wasn't as obedient, but now they know, or even that, just the different things they've been through, is going to get restored, but they have to just lean on God more, and you just have to be their encouragement. And then your obedience is basically, with your obedience and him telling you to do something, that's where faith comes in. It's so much too, because it's like you have to obey him in everything you do, but it's just like sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you're like, God, man, like I hear what you're saying, but what is the point of me doing this? And then you're kind of struggling, but once you obey and and you go do the thing you need to do, everything starts working out. So that's what I would say. And a lot of us now are bouncing back. We're getting back the things we lost. We're getting back the things that we've put so much money out there, and God's like restoring. I saw a video a while ago, and it said God's bringing back money from years ago, and and it's not even that, just bringing back money. He's just taking care of his children like he said he was, and not even just about the money, but he's restoring like everything they lost. I saw that too. Recently, actually, it said God's restoring back everything we lost, from childhood, and it's funny how God is, he's so hilarious. God remembers everything that we prayed for. So it's kind of like you prayed for, how I say it, what was it? I prayed for, perfect example. It's small in people's eyes, but it's so funny to me. But it's just like, I prayed for like a pink candle a while ago. And I was like, God, I want a pink candle, so I can just have a pink candle and, do my thing. So I'm going to the store, and God told me to go down the aisle. And I went to the dollar store. But I was like, God told me go to the aisle. And I saw a pink candle. And it's just the little things he does. Yeah, it's probably not the perfect example, but in the little things, God can bring a pink candle. He can do your favorite cup that you saw. Little things that you think he's not even, you just forgot about. He's over here like, hey, remember the nail thing you wanted, or not even things that we want to buy, but just something like, you have a day off, and after a while or something like that on a certain day, and you're like talking to God about like, God, I want this day off, and you got 2 days back to back, you'd be so happy, or something like that. But yeah, I go back to the little pink candle. He just does the little things, and I know it's just a pink candle to y'all, but for me, it was like, God, I wanted a pink candle, and it was just something sweet, like something I wanted to do. Me and my sister had this thing where we would do like have our little birthday candle. So, but I said I wanted mine pink this year, so I got me a pink candle. So even though I'm using it, but back to all that, it's just like you could do the little things, like you ask God, hey, you want a Pacific car, and right now you're not driving the Pacific car, but then later on, he opens that door. I'm just giving examples. I don't really know, but it's just like different things. You lost something, like you lost that car that you had, you didn't have that job that you wanted, or you just did the job that you had, and then, he restored it all back, and he's like restoring everything back, not financially, not just financially, but spiritually. You're growing spiritually, you're getting into his word, and you're starting to just be intentional what you do and say to certain people, and God's opening doors for you so he can use you as, his person, his to help his people. So the verse of the week. And when the king asked for the women, she told him. So the king appointed a certain officer to say, restore all that was hers, and all the progress of the field from the day that she had left the land until now. That's in 2 Kings 8 and 6. That's evidence right there. She went back because she lost everything, of course, and then, it was about to be 7-year famine. I'm just going back to the story. And she went to the king like, hey, I lost everything. I need to come back here. And he's like, restore all that she has lost, the proceeds, everything that she had for her field, her land. And she got her wealth back, Unfortunately, she had to lose some things, but with God, we do have to lose some things at one point in our life. We got to trust him, and we got to lose people at certain seasons that was there for a certain period of time for us to learn lessons or to be just a blessing in their life just for that moment. Because a lot of times you meet people and then you're like, oh, they were, God, they were just there. And then next thing you know, they're not there. But I have learned, even though if I don't even say goodbye, I have learned that at least I was trying to be a blessing, nice and sweet, because a lot of days we don't see nice, sweet anymore, or to be helping people when they need help. Certain things, just kindness, and I don't know why I was going there, but, people, places, things, you could be at a certain job today, and then tomorrow you can be gone because your time is up in that place. So you never know where God's going to take you, and obedience is very important in the season that you're going in. And he's ready to take us through different things in our life and to just elevate us, and just to start knowing, not just because he's going to restore things, but just know that God has your back. At the end of the day, he has your back. He's going to restore. He's going to help you where things you thought you prayed about years ago, it's coming back in circle. It's not your time. It's his time. So, it's your girl, Shanithia. I just did I'm sorry, I got to go back to my book. I did week 20, bounce back. And we got a little suitcase, y'all. So, and, some people could be moving different places. You never know. So, I'm not saying anything, but you never know. So, get ready, get set, because God got some different things that he wants to do in this journey for called life. He wants us to do what he wants us to do. And you never know where he's going to take you in life. So, as you can see, bags packed. So, get ready and get set. You never know. So once again, it's week 20, bounce back. Y'all have a good one.